Hi everyone, Jeri Bellini here. Welcome to the little house in Pennsylvania. It's a kind of a crazy morning here at the little house. The dogs keep barking. It's really windy out and they must be hearing things blowing around. So I'm sorry if I have to stop in the middle of something because of their barking. They're loud. Anyway, Happy New Year. This is my second video for 2025. The first one, if you missed it, was the very simple gratitude journal that I personally have already started writing in. Yes. I'll just go over that real quick. I put my the quote that I told you about from Kevin Costner: if you want to be happy, have zero expectations of others, take 100% responsibility for your life, and be grateful for what you have. So let's start the video off with that. And then I just wrote a little bit of things that I was grateful for spending time with the littles over the holiday and my family. So if you haven't seen that video, please go take a look at it. But today's video, I'm here to tell you that I'm going to do a series this year. Yeah, I'm stepping out a little bit. 52-week series. Can she do it? I don't know. So we're going to try. That's all I can do. And as a sidebar here, I haven't picked my word yet. So I'm really struggling with that for various reasons. I'll talk about that in a yeah. Anyhow, we are going to be creating texture tags. Yes, I wanted to do a series on texture. And when I say texture, I mean all sorts of texture. I did do a little bit of texture last year. I have a sample here. It was this little bird here, and we did ruching, so that's texture. So when I was doing that, some people left me comments and said, could you do, some more videos on texture? Excuse me, I love the idea. And when it was suggested, I had started writing notes and stuff on different textures that I could do. But then, I had that burnout and that went down the drain. So I decided this year to do it. And my thought was to do it simply. And maybe that should be my word for the year: simple, easy. I thought a really fun way to do this would be to keep it light and fluffy. Meaning, I don't want to do some big thing. Like, I don't want to do a bird. That was a big project. I don't want to do a bird. We're just going to do the texture. So we're going to use shipping tags. And I have a whole bunch of them here. And I'm going to turn the camera around in a few minutes and get a little more specific. But we're going to use shipping tags. Now, I don't want to show you anything specific because I have been working on this for a little bit. But just to give you an idea, I'm just going to show you this simple collage. Now, this is not what we're doing exactly, but we're going to, why am I showing it to you then? Because what we're going to do is do something on the front of a tag, and then we're going to keep the back of the tag and write down a little bit more information about it. So if I found, because I research, I go on Pinterest, I told you that. There's nothing new under the sun, by the way. It's just your take on something. So, if I see something on Pinterest, or, I have a lot of wonderful art books, I'm going to give credit to where I saw that on here. And then I'm going to make my own whatever, and we're going to stick it on a tag. So the back is for information, and the front is for the texture. Okay, hope that made sense. I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing with these tags long term. I've got so many ideas spinning around in my head. Should we make a journal and stick them in? Should we just get a nice metal ring and, because there's holes in these shipping tags. Should we do that? There's a couple of other ideas. I won't throw them out there just at the moment. So basically, if you don't have a shipping tag and you don't want to buy them, I've got a whole box of them because I've used them over the years for my business. I've made business cards with them. I've put goods, small pins, I've attached to them with a price for because Brian and I do art shows. Anyway, I have tons of them. I have coffee dyed them, as you can see. You can tea dye them. You can coffee dye them. You can leave them plain. I have plain ones here too. I would suggest that, okay, let me just say, if you don't have shipping tags and you don't want to buy them, or you can't buy them, or whatever reason, you just want to use what you have, file folders are the same material. So you can cut up file folders and just make your own if you don't have file fold, and you can use recycled ones that have writing on them, okay? Because I'm recycling a lot of these tags that have labels on them. For example, this, I would peel this off, and so what that it's got stuff under there. That could be part of the texture, you know, or I'm going to just cover it. So recycle is what I'm saying. You can use cereal boxes. You can use like a heavy duty cardstock. Do not use just single thin paper, because you want something that's got a little stability. So, okay. As far as the holes go at the top, I'm going to keep the holes visible because I don't know what I'm going to do with the tags when it's all said and done. So that's up to you. If you want to keep the hole, you don't want to keep the hole. Now, we are going to make a tag in today's video. It'll be our first tag. Some of the textures are going to be super simple and they're going to take 5 minutes to do. Some of them might be a little bit longer, but I just want to keep it fun and light, and I don't want you to be working on this for, you know, days. Okay, so let's just say an hour, 2 hours, maybe tops, and it could be as little as 5 minutes. All right, I hope you like the idea. The first thing I want you to do is collect your tags, or collect your whatever you're going to use. 52 of them, and I am saying collect 52 of them because that's like making a commitment that you're going to join me is by collecting your supplies. So I have my tags sitting, 52 of them, in this little box that I made. And I'll put the link to this video. I'm not telling you to make a box, but this is Atisha Moore inspired patches, and I made this box, and I looked at it and I said, that's a great place to just store my tags for the time being. So, I mean, my tags could be finished and live in this box too. They can live in a cigar box, the tags, while they're waiting for me. They can be in a baggie. I mean, it doesn't matter. Just get them all together. And I can't tell you what supplies to get for the 52 tags, because each week it's going to be different. Could be paint, could be stitching on cloth. It could be, I have a list over here, could be paper, a paper technique. It could be using some kind of mixed media, something. And don't worry if you don't have the supply at hand. You know, we'll talk about that as I go along. But I'm pretty sure you do. If you're watching my channel, you're creative, and you probably have something that you can use. All right, I'm going to flip the camera around now, and we're going to get started on our first tag for 2025. By the way, my goal is to air these videos on Tuesdays. Textured tags on Tuesdays. Cute, right? If you watch to the end, you'll see how I added finishes to some of the tags. Okay, we're going to start our first tag, and it's going to be like a warm-up exercise. So it's really simple. So cut a piece of paper, and I've used copy paper, just the same size as your tag or just a hair bigger. You can cut it back when you're finished. Okay, so see, it's just a hair bigger. And I'm only going up to this, I don't know what that thing is called, but I'm only going up to that. I'm not going to do anything up there. All right. So cut your paper. We're going to use some masking tape, artist's tape, any kind of tape that you have. And I'm going to show you, when I'm finished with this, I'm going to show you a few things that I did with various tapes. So you can either rip the tape off, and lay it down, or you can cut it. It's going to give you a slightly different look. And we're just going to lay the tape down and crinkle it up as we lay it down and push it down. Just make sure that whatever tape you're using has a good stickage. So I did do one with a Scotch tape that didn't really have, it's old Scotch tape, didn't really have good glue surface, but it's fine. I'll show it to you in a little bit. So you're just going to cover this whole card like that. You're going to overlap the edges, okay? And then, one second, you're also going to just pick it up and flip it around, because I have a tendency to keep, see what happened? I don't know. This is new tape too. Something's wrong with it. And you can use it if you want, but I'm trying to stay with this width. So I'll just rip off a new piece. I have a tendency to keep putting the folds in the same way. So if you flip it up and down, the card up and down, it won't look like it's going exactly the same way. If that made any sense, which I'm sure it did. All right. Okay, and you can just leave this and trim it off later. If it's a big piece, you can trim it, cut it off now, trim it off now, and reuse it. So you're just going to cover the whole card like this. Okay, once you did the whole thing, you have tape on the whole thing, turn it upside down and just kind of flatten it and make it adhere to the paper. And then trim your edges. All right. Now we're going to glue stick this down onto the card. And I'm using this glue stick and slathering on a lot of glue. I always glue on top of something. Usually I have an old catalog, but I just want to show you how much glue I use. A lot. I'm very heavy-handed with my glue stick. Okay, you see that? And then just turn it over. And this, even though it's purple, it dries clear. Okay. And then when this dries, I'll just trim around the edge and get rid of the excess. Okay, now let me show you some others that I did. This is the original one that I did, and just for fun, because I just, don't like that empty space up there, I just doodled in there. And then I flipped it over and just doodled around the edge. This was our first, let me put my cap back on here. This was our first texture tag, and I used artist tape. Now, this is a place for you to take notes. If you did anything else, just write it all down there. So I did do some other things. So I did this one. I used this. I don't even know what this is. I thought it was electrical tape when I first started, but it's not. It's kind of, it's a little transparent, a little opaque. I don't know. You can see through it a little bit. So I used that. And it just kind of, I think it looks fun. Let's just lay them out. And then I had some yellow painter's tape. And I did the same technique. I went across. I just went across for everything. So I did that with the colored tape. You don't have to do anything to that if you don't want to. I took a piece of book text because I thought that would be interesting if you could see through and see something interesting. So it's very subtle. Same thing went across. Now, let me stop with the book text. So if you do a lot with book text and you cut off the edges of your pages, which is what this is, and I do a lot with book text because we sell it in the store, so I have tons of it. But we're going to do something with these edges. If you do any book arts, save these edges. All right. This one is the same artist tape, but I went this way, I went that way. I just went all different directions so you can really see the difference, I hope. This one, I used the book text as well and used this packing tape. And these are this is just the technique. You can put paint on top of these. You can put wipe an ink pad over these and just hit the highlights and stuff. Trust me, they're very interesting. And then this one is Scotch tape, and unfortunately, I used an older Scotch tape. So just make sure your tape. This is the tape I use. It says invisible, but good luck, it's not invisible. Just make sure the tape that you're going to use is sticky, because this one wasn't real sticky and it's coming up a little. But, you know, I like it. I think it looks pretty neat. So let me show you something I did quite a few years ago. I did it on this huge piece of drawing paper, I think. And it's so cool. So you can see how interesting it looks if it's a whole thing. So can you imagine if this was like a book page? You know, the inside of one of your books. And then, you know, you can put your art on top of it and this would peek out around the end. I mean, I think it's pretty cool. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the first installation. We will get more interesting techniques as we go along. But I wanted to start you out with something very simple, and this way I could show you exactly what I meant with the tag and whatnot. All right, just remember what I always tell you. I feel like your mother. Keep moving, just play, no rules, and remember to find something to be grateful for each and every day. Write it in your gratitude journal, and that's about it. And I will see you again soon. I'm going to do a yaya and tell you some of my ideas for the coming year. This one was an afterthought, but I decided to take a picture and stick it in here so you can see how lovely it is if you just do it flat. And of course, if you put ink or something on there, it's going to make it even more interesting. So I started cleaning up my mess, and before I did, I said, you know, I'm going to fool around and put some inks and whatnot on here, as I suggested during the video, and show them to you. So this is an insert. This clip is done after the whole video is done, and an insert. I decided to put all my samples on a tag, and I'll write on the back of them exactly what I did here. So this was the artist tape that I did, you know, up and down and sideways and whatever. And I did use, interesting, this one was interesting. I did use some Inktense pencils and my water pen. And I just took a couple different colors and just kind of went in and smeared it. And then I took a baby wipe and wiped it back a little bit. And then I brushed over the top. I just took an ink pad, not this one in particular, but I took a green ink pad and I just kind of went like that to highlight the tips. And then I went over it again with black. And it's just interesting. It's very grungy looking and very interesting. And I thought you would enjoy seeing it. So that's that one. This one I left plain because it's the book text, and I wanted to highlight the fact that there was book text under there. And this one was the original one that I did, and so I left it plain. Here I used this opaque pigment marker, and it's gold. And let me show you the tip. Nope, that's not the tip I used. So I used this tip, and I just brushed over like lines, and then I went around the outside edge with it. And this one I didn't do anything to. And this one was the yellow painter's tape. And I did have I don't have it handy, but I did have a Stays-On yellow. Here, wait, I see it on the floor. This is what I used. Mustard. So Stays-On ink is a permanent ink. And the first, I was fooling around with this, and the first thing I used was Distress ink, and that is not permanent ink. It's water soluble. So it just wasn't staying because this is a slick surface. So if you're going to try this, use a permanent ink pad. And I just took the ink pad and went like that. I think it looks really cool. So this one, I took a black Stays-On and just went over it. Now, the flat parts, it does rub off, but it seems to be staying okay on there. I guess if you don't overhandle it, it'll be fine. But that was that one. So I just thought you would enjoy seeing these. And yeah, I hope you'll give this a try. I think it has a lot of potential.